There's one huge flaw right at the heart of the health and fitness world, which is probably hurting your long-term performance and your ability to keep doing the things you love into your old age. Hi, it's Sam from Tantrum. If this is your first time here, this channel's all about understanding how you can perform like you're 20, even when you're 40 plus. So if that sounds like your kind of caper, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. Make sure you click the bell to receive notifications whenever I release a new video. But probably the biggest problem in the world of health and fitness and performance is that most of our knowledge is based on studies of elite athletes. Studies which are then used to inform what the layman, like you and me, does following the ethos. If it's good enough for Usain Bolt, it's good enough for me and the rest of us. And to a certain extent, this is true, except for one huge flaw. All athletes, pretty much without exception, are looking at being the best they can possibly be right now, so they can win that next medal or game, or just make the team this week. Very few of them, and even less of their coaches, are looking at the optimal way to sustain that performance over 10, 20, 30 or more years. And this leads to one huge problem, because often the very things which give us amazing performance right now, carb loading, overtraining, intense workouts, lead to impaired performance in the long term. Take carb loading. It's pretty much accepted that carb loading before a big game or event is the best way to store glucose in the muscles and ensure you don't run out of fuel halfway through whatever it is you're doing. But that same carb loading has multiple effects which long term will negatively affect your health. To take one such example, carbs spike blood sugar, which if done consistently over time leads to insulin resistance, which is definitely not a high performance state. Or if you read the ingredients on the back of any of these so-called sports drinks, there's a load of stuff you'll just not recognize, let alone be able to pronounce. Why? Because most of them are full of man-made chemicals designed to give us a short-term boost at the expense of long-term health. Sure, if you carb load or take a sports drink every now and again, it won't do you any harm. But doing it several times a week for an extended period, that's going to hurt your performance and health long term. Working out several times a day has a similar effect. Sure, you'll get fit fast, but you're also probably placing a huge amount of strain on the joints and muscles, which will very likely come back to haunt you in the form of impaired performance and injuries later in your sporting career. Now, the real fact is there's been very few studies run on what it takes to perform optimally for a long period of time, as most athletes just aren't interested in knowing. They want to perform great today, and the devil may care about tomorrow. For most of us, however, especially as we get to kind of 35 onwards, we start to feel the effects of these short-term strategies we've been inadvertently implementing our entire lifestyle. We start to notice our performance declining. Yet for most of us, this is especially cruel, as it's about this time of life when we start to have the time and money to actually do the things we've always wanted to do. But by now, we start to find our body betraying us and realize we need to look for a sustainable program to make us move forward. Now, there are some athletes who have taken the long-term view. Tom Brady is a favourite example of mine, 43-year-old superstar quarterback of the NFL, who decided to take the long-term view at 26. Now, luckily, by studying these few outliers, science is starting to catch up, and we now have a better idea of what we need to be doing to ensure we can continue to enjoy our sports well into our old age, and even how to reverse a lot of the damage we've done previously, so we can rebuild optimum health and fitness, which will enable us to keep on kite surfing or doing whatever we want to do until we're a ripe old age. Now, for those that are interested in understanding how they can do this better, I've put together a program specifically designed for kite surfers to build optimal fitness, which will enable them to keep kite surfing until their ripe old age, until they're old and grey. The link is in the description below this video and it's free. Okay guys, that's it for today. Make sure if you enjoyed that, if you learned something, to subscribe, like, click the bell to receive notifications, and I will catch you in the next video.